Am I the asshole I offended my sisters while explaining why I didn't want children? I, 28 female, have 4 siblings, one of them being disabled. The other 3 have kids. This post is about A, 35F, and B, 32F. A have 4 kids, 17F, 15M, 14M, 9F. The younger 3 have severe physical and mental disabilities. B have 3, 12M, 7M, 2F. The oldest and middle have the same disabilities as my older sister's children, and the younger have Down syndrome. They are both stay-at-home mom. All the children are in the disability programs my country offers, but there is not much money left, after all the medical bills of therapy and meds they need. Their husbands have okay jobs, but with the severity of the children's disabilities it is hard to go by. On the other hand, I am single, child-free by choice, went to university, totally debt-free, have a master's, and work from home in my dream field. Last month I bought my first house. I invited my family and friends for a housewarming this Saturday. I paid for 2 caretakers to care for their children so they could come. Everything was fine and fun. Until the end of the night, my friends had already gone home, and it was the 3 of us. They started to talk about me settling down, marrying, and having kids, since I bought a house. I remembered that I didn't want kids. This talk circulated several times. Until they asked me why FOI the 10th time. I told them, besides really not wanting to have a child, I love my freedom. I love the life that I already have. Thinking about our family DNA, that is a high chance of having a disabled child. That means more work and sacrificing. I don't want to sacrifice myself. I want to have money for hobbies, to take care of myself, for expensive clothes and hairdressers, to travel, to live and not just survive. I love them, they're great moms, but I don't want to make the sacrifices to be the same. I would be an awful and spiteful mom, and no one deserves that. From everything I said, the only thing they listened to was about not wanting a disabled child. They went on a spiral about how much of a blessing their kids are, how I am an egotistical bitch, and so much more. They blocked me on social media, and aren't answering me in the family group chat. My mom called to give me a speech about how my disabled brother, 36M, was a blessing in her life, how he is a gift from God, and uninvited me from Christmas because my sisters won't come if I come. I called my brother, 39, his 2 children are adopted. He admitted a long time ago this was due to the high chance of disability in our family. He told me my delivery is rude, but they also suck, they should know not everyone wants kids. He encouraged me to apologize because I know how they are. Not the asshole. Honestly, I worked with special needs kids for over a decade. And there is a massive difference between a child born with a disability as a surprise and deciding to bring a child that you know will suffer into the world if there's family history. Not all disability is the same. Not all of them can have a quality of life. Some absolutely suffer until they pass. And knowingly doing that to your child for your own desires is selfish as fuck. You have the awareness to know you're not cut out for it. Good for you. Because not everyone is. They willingly decided to live that life and you willingly decided against it. That's your right. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. And especially not the asshole for recognizing that the probability of you having disabled kids is high and that you're not the person to that. People fail to realize that you sacrifice a lot already having children, and while some people are okay with that, some aren't. You aren't wrong at all. Most people have kids without even considering their genetic markers, which I think is really cruel. Also, if they're upset, then that's their problem. You might have delivered wrong, but it sounds like they heard that they wanted to, so I personally wouldn't apologize. Not the asshole. I am lucky enough to have 3 healthy children. I have a niece with developmental disabilities, and a nephew with Down syndrome. I love them both dearly. But as a parent I know I would not have had the innate patience necessary to be a good mother to a child like that. It's a skill I would have had to learn, and there's something wrong with using a child in that manner to learn a skill I know I don't possess. Deciding to not take the risk is smart, especially if you know you'd be spiteful due to the potential circumstances. Knowing your limitations does not make you a bad person. Not the asshole. People need to learn not to ask questions they might not like the answers to. Not the asshole. You don't owe anyone an explanation why you don't want to have children. It's on them that they pushed you to answer this question, and it's on them for not liking it. Not the asshole. First up, people with kids can be so self-righteous in believing that life is about becoming a parent. You don't have to explain why you don't want kids to anyone. Your family knows your stand but still feel they need to meddle, so to me they deserve the reply they got, poor delivery or not. Also, I genuinely believe they see it as judgment. They know what they risked in having children, but they still did it. When the initial kid or kids showed the disabilities, they still kept on having kids. So when you say you won't, which I personally believe to be very responsible, they take it very negatively. However, I have no compassion, because if they just minded their business to begin with, you wouldn't have needed to explain your view. Am I the asshole because I will not watch anything more complicated than a Hallmark movie with my wife? I love my wife. She is intelligent and sweet. Also, she is beautiful inside and out. She teaches high school English and social studies. She loves novels and usually has several on the go. However, she cannot follow the plot of a movie to save her life. Unless it is about a big city lawyer visiting her hometown to shut down the local factory but instead reconnecting with her high school boyfriend who is also the local baker and mayor. I've known this about her for years and I have accepted it. I just like vegging with her, so I am happy to see white people rediscovering the magic of Christmas. Or whatever. When we were dating we watched The Matrix. The questions she asked had me wondering about her. Ditto for anything complex. Even The Usual Suspects, where they lay everything out for you, she didn't get the ending. We had her sister and brother-in-law over for a couple's night on Friday. We made supper and the plan was to watch a movie. Sister wanted to watch Shutter Island. I will not spoil it, but the movie has many twists. The ending is awesome. I tried my best to suggest anything else. The new Laura Dern movie where she bangs the kid from Hunger Games. They all ganged up on me and said we were watching Shutter Island. My wife proceeded to embarrass herself by not understanding the ending and asking questions that were not great. Her sister and her husband were looking at my wife like she was Simple Jack. I tried my best to cover for her, telling her I would explain it later. She got mad at me for not just answering her questions. After they left, she started in me. She said that she noticed that we always watched a certain kind of movie and that she thought I enjoyed them. I said I did because we got to spend time together and that made me happy. She said that she was not an idiot and that she just didn't concentrate on movies. She recited the plots of several novels to prove her point. I said that I had never commented on her intelligence and that AHE was smarter than me. She says that I'm a jerk for not watching movies I enjoy with her. So I agreed and we watched Memento today. I think her head almost exploded from bot asking questions. I saw her on Wikipedia reading the plot. Am I the asshole for intentionally not watching complicated movies with my wife? Nah, I can understand why you picked movies you could both enjoy, and I can see why she might be a bit miffed at the miscommunication. Having said that, maybe she's already found the solution to the problem. You both watch the complex movie together, and then she reads the plot summary so she can process the information in a way that makes sense to her. Then she doesn't have to ask questions, and you can both enjoy movies together. Depending on how her brain works, she might even enjoy reading the plot summary first, and then watching it with you. She might be able to enjoy the movie even more. It'd be like when you watch a movie about a book you read, but this time everything is accurate because the book is the plot summary. Have you tried turning on the captions? She might process information by reading, so that could help her. Also, if you always watch with them on, maybe that's what's distracting her. I know I missed some scenes because I'm busy reading. I have to rewind it a bit. You're the asshole. There are so many good movies out there. But all of your examples are from the 2% of movies that are deliberately confusing or known for their plot twists. If you look at IMDb's best movies of all time, while I strongly disagree with the list, I'm sure she'd be fine the large majority of movies there. It comes across like you're searching hard for some way to put her down. You're embarrassed by her because she didn't get the plot twists of Shutter Island? She likes to watch movies, it's an activity you do with friends, but she's only capable of movies that are famously stupid. Nah, it's actually not uncommon to process written language better than spoken. I'm not as severe as your wife, but if I have the option, I always go for subtitles. And yes, sometimes I need to read something for it to sink in. I can't listen to podcasts, they're like an annoying itch in my head. I'm just a bit surprised she's not more aware of the issue. Maybe she can talk to her GP? Sometimes the upside is mostly some tools and tips on managing her condition to make it easier. You are the asshole for selecting Memento as the film you tried to bring her in on for the first one. You knew what you were doing, and there are hundreds of brilliant films that don't completely challenge how films are structured. Why not just be done with it and choose Tenet? Some films are hard to pick everything up on first time, and Nolan is a master at this. Very unfair thing to do. Emo. Should have picked a good film without an intentionally complicated structure. It would be one thing if you had communicated to her that you don't want to explain movies to her. But instead you manipulated her into thinking that you only liked simple movies. Not only that, but you seem more concerned about her coming across as dumb than you are concerned about having to explain the plot. Bruh, it's her sister, surely her sister knows that she's bad at understanding movies. You are the asshole. You should have communicated like an adult. Am I the asshole for leaving before dinner because my mom didn't cook anything my wife can eat? I recently got married with my long-term fiancé. She and my mom never really gotten along. I always hoped things would get better after the marriage. My mom invited us over for dinner, which was supposed to be our first meal as a married couple at her house. Now, my wife is a vegan. She was a vegetarian before but switched to vegan a couple months ago. My mom knows she's a vegan. Despite that, my mom didn't prepare a single vegan dish for her. Except a soggy-looking salad. Even the veggie soup, she added chicken broth to it, to make it tastier. The rest was all non-vegan stuff like mac and cheese, fried chicken, jambalaya, and banana pudding for dessert. All things my wife can't eat. I told my mom we were going to leave before dinner since there was nothing for Olga, my wife, to eat. My mom said she could just pick the shrimp out of the jambalaya and eat the salad. I told her that's not how it works. Then she started insisting the veggie soup was fine. I pointed out that it wasn't vegan because of the chicken broth. Which according to my mom was bullshit. She then asked Olga if can't she just eat normally for one day. My wife said no, but she doesn't mind just having the salad, but I knew she was just trying to save the day and was fed up with how my mom was treating her, so I thanked my mom and told her we were leaving. My mom freaked out. She blamed us with being disrespectful. She said she spent hours cooking all that food for me. I told her that's the issue, she should have thought about Olga too. My mom said I was exaggerating because it's not like she's allergic or anything. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. My mom freaked out. She blamed us with being disrespectful. She said she spent hours cooking all that food for me. I told her that's the issue, she should have thought about Olga too. My mom said I was exaggerating because it's not like she's allergic or anything. For your mom to not have cooked a single thing that Olga could eat is a massive power play. She then asked Olga if can't she just eat normally for one day. Time to go very LC or NC with your mom until she decides to treat your wife with respect. Not the asshole. This was a marriage test, a husband test. Your mom was testing if you'll prioritize her feelings over your wife. She may not have even consciously known she was doing it, but it was still a test. You passed with flying colors. Not the asshole. It's not that hard to leave out the chicken broth, but apparently, it's easier to serve a whole buffet Olga can't eat. Mom calling veganism bullshit just proves this wasn't an accident. You did the right thing by standing by your wife, even if it means missing out on some banana pudding. You know the saying, start how you mean to go on. Which of you haven't heard it before, means, set your standard from the very beginning, if you want people to respect and make it a habit to behave within certain limits. It's a great way to start a marriage. You expect yourself and your wife to be treated with kindness and consideration, and you will politely excuse yourself any time that isn't occurring. If you do the hard work now while your mother is already adjusting to you being married, then it gets bundled into the same emotional work for her. Not the asshole. Your mother knew exactly what she was doing. Not the asshole. This absolutely was a power play by your mom. She knew your wife would barely have anything to eat and was either trying to manipulate her into eating non-vegan food or was genuinely okay with her having nothing to eat. Both are extremely disrespectful and rude. You did everything right by the sounds of it, had your wife's back, without your wife having to awkwardly say something to your mom, and directly called out your mom, then followed through on leaving the meal so your wife wouldn't be forced to sit through a meal she couldn't eat. Your mom needs to apologize. Am I the asshole for canceling my wife's birthday party after she called my sister a leech? My wife's birthday party was supposed to be this Friday. I actually wanted her present to be a surprise this year. It is not uncommon that my wife will open an Amazon package thinking it was something else, ruining the present surprise. My sister and her do not have the best relationship, and it is due to different values. They basically disagree on everything, but the big thing that my wife hates is that my sister has asked for money or help. We have a shared account and keep separate money. I will lend my sister cash, but I haven't had to do that in a while. I lend her from my account, not the shared account. She also pays me back. So I sent my wife's present to my sister's house and was going to pick them up Thursday. I got a text from my sister saying she got the packages and my wife saw the text. She made a comment about giving handouts again. She basically told me enough was enough and that I need to stop sending her shit. She called my sister a leech that can't get her shit together, this resulting in argument, and I told her that she was holding her birthday present but I am returning them. I am also canceling the dinner party. Another big argument, and I did cancel the plan and asked my sister to return the packages. My wife is pissed at me and called me a jerk, and I told her that this is her own fault. You are treating your wife like a child who needs to be punished because she said something that you didn't like. You are conflating two different issues, the tension between those two, and her birthday. You should have acted like an adult, and had a calm discussion where you expressed your feelings about wife's comments. Instead, you are being high-handed and patronizing. Wife and sisters, to a lesser extent, bad behavior is obvious. Wife should have left the matter between you and sister. Sister should get her act together. If you are lending, or giving, money to the detriment of your household, you'd be an idiot. However, in this case you have a shared account which funds the household, so there is no impact. It's interesting that your wife opens packages that are sent to you. I guess that if you opened her packages she'd be livid. Double standards. It suggests she has no boundaries and doesn't want you to have, not secrets, exactly, but things for yourself. It smacks of a controlling nature. You're not the asshole for canceling, but you would be if you don't sit her down and set boundaries. Why are you both so passive-aggressive? Good relationships are built on communication, but retaliation. Not the asshole. Whoever disagrees are choosing to deliberately overlook the fact that your sister pays the money that comes from your account back. Not only that, you said she hasn't asked in a while, nor was she asking then. Instead of your wife asking what she was talking about, she FAFO woman shrugging medium dark skin tone. I'm guessing this behavior and your reactions are years in the making. You are the asshole specifically for the question you asked. Am I the asshole for canceling my wife's birthday party for calling my sister a mean name? Yes, you are. What you did is what you would do to badly parent a child. A. The consequence does nothing to correct the behavior you want to change, and B. Your wife isn't your child and doesn't need to be punished by you.